shocking video captured inside of a bodega shows a man pulling out a butcher knife on employees in an attempt to stab them.
What? That is crazy.
This surveillance video shows a blue car suddenly stop before the doors open. Gunfire erupts in the middle of a Fort Lauderdale neighborhood.
Yo, this is insane.
This was the video shown in this week's Trackdown. A person dressed in black, wearing a ski mask, comes into a Fort Worth McDonald's April 10th, 9 p.m.
Yo, you see this dude? This is crazy and insane.
Oh! I can't! I can't! I got hit!
Yo, this is crazy and insane.
Shocking video here showing a Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy shoving a woman out the front door and down to the ground as she's being released from jail. Now,
yo, that's crazy. Why would he do that? Insane. Welcome back to Crazy and Insane TV, everyone. And in today's show, you see it, we do have a double crazy, double insane show for y'all. But before we start it, make sure y'all like this video, and I want y'all to comment on each episode and share this video out. So let's dive right in.
Shocking video captured inside of a bodega shows a man pulling out a butcher knife on employees in an attempt to stab them. Tonight, one of those employees is speaking out about the terrifying experience. And News 12's Heather Fordham shares the harrowing details from Highbridge.
This video could be a scene in a horror movie, but it was actually the scene inside 3J's Deli in Highbridge.
This guy's a terror. You know, he's a wild pit bull, right? Everyone's afraid.
It was just after 7:30 Monday night when this man, identified by police as Terrell Mata, walked into the store on Anderson Avenue. Nazario Marte was sitting down behind the counter when his coworker warned him the customer was aggressive. What they didn't know was that he was hiding a butcher knife and about to attack. Marte dodged the knife, grabbed a bat, and chased his attacker out of the store. Marte recounted the experience with his 3-month-old son resting on his shoulder, saying he's too terrified to go back to work.
Mata is known to both the neighborhood and police, who say he's been arrested at least 3 times in the past for assault at neighboring bodegas.
The United Bodegas of America now sounding the alarm.
Bail reform must go. Panic buttons must come to these bodegas so that when someone walks in a bodega with a weapon, they can press a button that connects to the precinct. Thank God no one was killed. But we may not be lucky next time.
Mata is facing multiple charges and will go before a judge on May 12th in
Wow, this is insane. Dude with the knife, he must be crazy. Knife ain't doing it nowadays, buddy. That's what the worker had to chase you with a baseball bat. I think my man have some mental issue coming inside of the store causing problem with a knife. Yo, these people are crazy and deranged. But anyway, let's move on to the next story.
This was the video shown in this week's Trackdown. A person dressed in black, wearing a ski mask, comes into a Fort Worth McDonald's April 10th, 9 p.m., demanding money from an employee at the cash register, and fires one shot near the employee. Customers crawling under tables for cover, others getting out of the store. Wednesday, we talked with Fort Worth Police Robbery Detective Brian Rainsford.
It is very violent and it's very disturbing to watch.
Last night, the would-be robber, who fired the gun with his left hand but handled the weapon with both hands during the frightening few minutes in the McDonald's, taken into custody by Fort Worth Police. While this may have been the 16-year-old's first attempt at robbing a restaurant with people in it, police say he's terrorized workers in other businesses like stores across Fort Worth, and multiple offenses have been linked to his actions. Even as the case was shown on Trackdown, Fort Worth detectives had been working for weeks to find him, a high-intensity priority because of the obvious danger to working people trying to make an honest living.
This is a violent individual. He fired shots during a robbery in a restaurant full of people on a weeknight at 9 o'clock in the evening.
Sean Rabb, Fox 4 News.
Wow, This dude must be crazy and insane. Yo, dude walk up inside of a McDonald's, crowded in the middle of the day, pulls out a weapon and decide he gonna rob them in the middle of the day with crazy customers. This kid must be mentally deranged or something. Then not only that, he fires a couple of shots at the employee. Yo, this is insane, yo. I'm glad he got caught. I think he got caught. This is crazy. People like these don't belong on the streets. This is insane. But let's move on to the next story.
Well, tonight's a pretty shocking video here showing a Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy shoving a woman out the front door and down to the ground as she's being released from jail. Now we're learning that that man has been fired. That deputy was initially put on paid administrative leave during the investigation.
But we've now learned that the deputy was officially fired last month. KCRA 3's Curtis Ming joins us live from the newsroom with the details on the case so far.
Yeah, this happened in October. The deputy standing in the doorway pushes that woman all the way to a barrier outside. Take a look at the video. Inside the jail, there's a back and forth between the deputies and a woman signing some release papers. And eventually, you can see the deputy grab the 71-year-old woman and push her. We've learned that deputy's name is Matthew Gurich. He was initially put on leave during the investigation, but we now know he was formally terminated March 14th. The Sacramento Sheriff's Office shared today why this was a lengthy process.
He was actually terminated by Sheriff Cooper on March 14th of this year. Obviously, the investigation began back in October.
This is insane, my good folks. This lady is 70. Why you even got her grabbed up like that and then pushed her on the way out? It makes no sense. Would you like anybody to do that to your mom? Yo, this is crazy and insane. Let me take another look at this again.
It shows deputies escorting the woman to the door. Then one of them appears to push her out, causing her to fall to the ground. A sheriff's spokesman reportedly said the deputy was terminated in March. Body cam video from the moments before shows the woman just after being processed out of the jail.
Okay.
Start walking this way.
Don't push me.
Shut the up.
What?
Just start walking this way.
What are you doing?
The attorney for the 71-year-old woman tells the Bee she was held in the jail for 2 days and has a documented history of mental illness. He also reportedly says she was hospitalized for 3 months after the fall and sustained injuries that prevent her from climbing stairs, causing her to need assistance. The district attorney's office says the matter is under investigation.
Yo, my good folks, this is crazy and insane. Why would you push a old lady like that, yo? This is insane. I don't understand. Yo, I'm glad that cop got fired, and they all should have got fired, because after dude pushed her, nobody went over there and tried to help her pick her up or nothing. This is crazy. That's not the way to treat an elderly lady. No respect. This is insane, yo. Let's move on to the next story.
Oh! I can't! Get up! I can't! I got hit! Get up!
So intense and caught on camera gunfire outside a house party in East Harris County. Deputies say at least one teen was shot and bullets pierced nearby cars and homes.
Yeah, you could hear the girl saying, "I've been hit." Neighbors blame the chaos on problem renters in the home, and they want something done about it. Gunshots ringing out early Monday morning on Chalmette Street in the North Shore area. Jason Miles there with exclusive details.
Take a look at just some of the damage left over from this apparent shootout. This one car was shot at least 3 times, and it leaves many in this area very concerned. In surveillance video from the wee hours of Monday morning, a teenager who we've blurred along with others can be heard yelling about being hit. Even as more gunfire goes off, she still manages to escape as other potential victims run for their lives as well.
I told my daughter and my other daughter to get my mama and the baby down on the ground because it was right here. The gunshots were right here.
This neighbor didn't want to be on camera, but she pointed out multiple bullet holes left in her SUV, one of 3 vehicles shot outside her home, along with many others up and down the street. In fact, we counted more than a dozen holes in both vehicles and houses.
I just heard a lot of screaming, a lot of people running down the street. You know, it was wild.
According to the Harris County Sheriff's Office, gunfire erupted when a large house party advertised on social media and attracting unwanted guests involved in illicit activity got out of hand. At least one 16-year-old girl was struck along with all the nearby property, although it's unclear if anyone's been charged.
This is the second time this has happened over here. This is the second time this has happened.
Longtime resident Ronald Nunley's car was struck by a bullet, as was his garage door. Tonight, he's one of many residents in search of a solution to what they've called a long-term problem here.
So it's got so bad now, you know, because we hadn't had no bullets before, but now it's bullets.
What do you hope can be done?
I wish they would do something about it.
The sheriff's office confirming it's been called here before, and after our questions today, says deputies will be patrolling the area. Meanwhile, my calls to the registered homeowner have not been returned, all while residents worry about what might be next.
It's crazy. I mean, they don't think.
Here's yet another bullet hole in this car. Neighbors tell me they plan to remain vigilant, keeping track of every incident and reporting them to authorities. Meantime, they plan to contact local leaders as well as the Homeowners Association.
That's crazy and insane, yo. This neighborhood don't even look like that type of neighborhood for all these gunshots firing, shooting up everybody's houses. Insane. Hope they could get to the bottom of this. Wow, but let's move on to the next story.
Now to exclusive video of a shocking shooting in Fort Lauderdale. A woman shot in the middle of the street in broad daylight, and you won't believe who is accused of pulling the trigger. Local 10's crime specialist Bridget Matter is in Fort Lauderdale with this crime on camera. Bridget.
And it's two teens that police say are responsible for this shooting. They say it's a 15 and 17-year-old who have been arrested, now facing serious charges. This surveillance video shows a blue car suddenly stop before the doors open. Gunfire erupts in the middle of a Fort Lauderdale neighborhood. At least 3 shots were fired before the car drives away. We've zoomed in on what appears to be children on a scooter in the area at the time. It was April 4th in the 500 block of Northwest 22nd Avenue in the middle of the day. Fort Lauderdale police say 15-year-old Carmelo Knowles and 17-year-old Montrell Muff were found in that car later that day. The two were arrested for attempted murder charges. According to a person in the area, a woman was hit. Police say the victim was in serious condition but did not have life-threatening injuries. The woman shot lives in the neighborhood but was too scared to go on camera. And we did speak to other neighbors. They say that it's normally a quiet neighborhood. As far as Fort Lauderdale police is concerned, we asked for more information. They say they're working on a final report. We're live.
This is insane, my good people. These are kids. 15, 16, 17. All got guns shooting at each other. Why? Yo, what's going on? So nobody can have a fair fight no more when they disagree with each other. Now it's all about killing each other. You don't want to see that individual ever again. This makes no sense with this type of generation that's coming up now. It's mind-boggling. You got like a little kid right here on a scooter and a car stopped with a 15 and a 16 or 17 and pulls out weapon and starts shooting at these little kids. It's insane, yo. Where is this at? This need to come to an end in Florida. Yo, my good folks, make sure y'all be safe out there. Peace and love, and we up out of here.